This is the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, geeks of all ages, we are here in Austin, Texas, where I'm going to show you a little bit of South by Southwest. We've got a great show for this week. We're going to talk about Facebook buying drones. We're going to talk about what selfies taught us, and a whole bunch more. You're watching Geek Smack, so let's get the geek going right now. Hey everybody, Jeffrey Powers here, and welcome to Geek Smack, the show where we smack the geek out of you like Facebook smacking the geek out of drones. We've got a great show for this week, and I'm here in Austin, Texas, and I just got in about 3 hours ago, and really having fun here. I'm at the hotel. I'm here for a day, and then I'm going to go stay at a friend's for South by Southwest. I'm looking for something that I should have had with me, my little clicker, which I guess is somewhere over here in this mess right now. So anyway, of course, the show, Geek Smack, happens every single Tuesday for Wednesday consumption. Usually we do it live over on youtube.com/Geekazine. However, this week, of course, with me being in Austin, made life a little bit more difficult. So what I decided to do was record this. We're going to upload it. We'll see how the upload happens, because we are using hotel bandwidth for the show, and go from there. And of course, I don't have multiple computers. I just have the one machine. So it will be doing double duty here. It will be doing, it will be going back and forth between the screens here. And of course, so you'll see this, and then we'll go back to this, and you know how it really works. So, hey, if this is the first time you've come to the show, thank you very much for coming to the show. We do this every single Tuesday. You go over to Geekazine.com, subscribe to the show notes, and that's how you can get all this cool stuff, all the information that I'm going to put out at you, where all the links are, and go from there. So, like I said, Austin, Texas, here I am. Of course, this last week has been completely insane, simply because of the fact that I've had to turn around and create all these videos for iPad 365, Day in Tech History, get all my work done for next week, and technically the following week, because I'm here until Wednesday the 12th when I fly back, and I'm going to spend all day flying. I've actually got 3 flights to get back to Madison, so it's going to be a crazy thing. So I'm glad to have this extra time to just kind of decompress and get into the shows and go from there. Hey, if you didn't check out This Week in Google Glass last night, go over there, check it out, twig.tv. We got a lot of great content over there, and we had a very interesting conversation about how sports venues are taking over glass. And if you're in DC and you're watching the Washington Capitals and you got your Google Glass, which I have right here, I should probably put them on. There we go. That's a little bit better. If you're watching the Washington Capitals, that might be a place to go to watch it with your Google Glass, because they've got some great stuff going on right there. Of course, we've got a lot of other stuff here, but let's get into the tech news. We're going to keep it as short as possible and get you on your way. And then, of course, I'm going to talk about what I'm expecting at South by Southwest here. So let's get to your Tech Smack for this week. And of course, the Tech Smack is brought to you. Well, I didn't really center that. Of course, the Tech Smack is brought to you by our friends over at Carbonite. You know, backup now, backup often, backup offsite. It's very important for you to back up your data. Before I leave for a big trip, I always back up my data. I back up my desktop computer, I back up my laptop, my MacBook, gets a full backup, and then I have a hard drive. So if this hard drive in here crashes, I can go get another hard drive, and I can bring it all back, and I'm back up. Maybe within 4 or 5 hours, I'm back up and running. And that's pretty important to do. So backing up off-site is also very important, because you never know what's going to happen at home. Fire, flood, theft, it's all there. So if you have an off-site backup, if something happens to your computer there, you get a new computer, you just bring it back up using Carbonite and their backup service. You can also use it as a reference. I can pull up through my iPad or my phone some of the files that I have on my Carbonite backup. So if I need a vital file, like let's say I'm doing an iPad 365 episode and I forgot to bring a a transition or an image or something like that, I can go into Carbonite and pull up that file and bring it down and use that from there. Lots of great utilities over at Carbonite. Check it out yourself. Go over to geekazine.com/carbon-free for a 15-day free trial. Carbon-free for a 15-day trial. But of course, if you're a business, check out geekazine.com/carbonite. And they've got some great deals on businesses over there. So check that out over at carbonite.com, where you should back up now, back up often, back up off-site with Carbonite. I'll get back to my regular look here. All right, here we go. So here, let's take a look at some of the news for the week. Facebook is talking about a drone, purchasing a drone. Facebook is working with Titan Aerospace. Here's the link here. This is over on CNET. Titan Aerospace, and basically they're making solar-powered drones that could stay aloft for multiple years, up to 5 years. And what that would do is it would bring it up into the atmosphere to get more of the sun's rays for a better solar charge. So when it comes back down, they can use that. They can use the power in there. So it's an interesting idea, and it's a $60 million acquisition. If it actually happens, then Facebook will be in the drone business. But the reason why is simply for power. And looking pretty cool. I don't know. These drones, we're getting into the drone era now, and that means that we're going to have to worry about regulation of drones, just like satellites. You don't want to have drones just flying everywhere. You know, if you're in a plane and a drone crashes into the plane, that's not good. If drones are crashing into drones, that's not good. So we'll see what happens here. But I'm not too big on all these drone ideas. I wouldn't mind having something, you know, for solar purposes, being able to launch a balloon or something like that up into space or something like that to collect some of the power that way and go from there. But interesting stuff. We'll see what happens and how Facebook is getting into the drone business. No, they're not going to be shipping you Amazon stuff or stuff from whatever warehouse they go from. So if you want to read more on that, go over to cnet.com. Next up, it looks like Twitter had a small little issue the other day. They basically sent out password resets. And you might have received a message from Twitter saying that you have to reset your password. They found out they weren't going to do that. There's just a mistake on their part. So you don't need to reset your password. It's always good if you haven't reset your password in a while to reset your password and go from there. So if you want to check out a little bit more on that, we got that link over at pcmag.com. Of course, go over to Geekazine for all the show notes. Speaking of Twitter, of course, the infamous Twitter selfie happened at the Oscars. Of course, we have Bradley Cooper, Ellen DeGeneres. We've got Jennifer Lawrence. We've got Julia Roberts, Brad Pitt. Back there is I can't remember his name. Anyway, the whole point is this selfie, of course, hit 1.3 billion or 1.3 million retweets. Now Samsung turned around and said we're going to give a couple dollars for every retweet, and they ended up giving out $3 million to charities because of that. But it also brought a new and a bigger idea of the selfie. A lot of people thought, you know, selfie, that's so passe. It's so weird. But a lot of people are really analyzing selfies now and saying how much they actually help your psychological profile, or not profile, but how you act and react in a day when you take a selfie. And stuff like that. So this selfie, of course, being the most retweeted selfie out there, was it's very interesting to see how this selfie is starting to get analyzed, how it's starting to get understood of the importance of doing something like this. And of course, many different websites have been really breaking this down. Of course, BuzzFeed ripped it out by piece or picture by picture. It doesn't really matter how you take the selfie, just as long as you take the selfie. And of course, the biggest thing is give the camera to the guy with the longest arms, because there's always somebody out there. Of course, you don't see in this picture. I'm going to show you the picture again. You don't see in this picture Liza Minnelli, who's literally right back there. I think that's part of her head or something like that. She was back there, but she just didn't get in the selfie because she wasn't tall enough for it. So amazing way that social media has really can explode in a moment. And of course, before this selfie, the most retweeted selfie was Barack Obama's selfie. So interesting stuff. Maybe we should start like a selfie a day and see what happens there. That'd be interesting to see. What do you think? Should we start a selfie a day? Let me know. Twitter me over at Geekazine, of course, geekazine@gmail.com. Just so you know, and I'm kind of noticing this, the audio might be a little bit off kilter if you're watching the video, because like I said, I'm running everything off of one computer, and I didn't bring the USB microphone. Guess that was out of the package there. So, and the other thing is, right now, they didn't lose my luggage. Basically, what happened was on the first flight, they had to take extra time to de-ice the plane. When we got to Atlanta, I got on my connecting flight. My luggage didn't. So my luggage is just a couple hours behind me. So I don't have all my gear here. And I'm hoping that the microphone's in the gear, but if not, I'll just have to do with what I got and go from there. In the meantime, if you're watching the video, I apologize for the tracking issues that might be happening, but it's just unavoidable right now. So let's move on from there. Let's go over to TechCrunch.com. Check this out. Now, if you've got a set-top box, like a Roku, like an Apple TV, you know, the remotes are kind of a joke. You want something bigger. And that was the one thing that Boxy always offered that I wish that somebody else would have picked up on, and that is a remote that actually has a QWERTY keyboard on it. Well, Logitech, who's been in the set-top box game and decided to get back in the set-top box game, has decided to launch this. This is called the Logitech Harmony Smart Keyboard. It's basically for your living room. It connects up through Bluetooth to your Xbox, to your PlayStation, to your Apple TV, your Roku, and some smart TVs. And you can use it like a full-out keyboard. What does that mean? That means when you hit the search button, you can type in a name as opposed to going down 3 over 5, back over 5, up 3, over 3. It's just annoying to try and do that back and forth and get that. It'd be easier just type. Now, with the Roku remote on the smartphone, you can actually pull up the keyboard and go from there. But it's really nice to actually have something like this. And I could actually see a couple, well, with the Xbox and stuff like that, you'll be able to pull up a browser and search from there. It'll be nice to actually see Roku get a browser and be able to do some basic searches on the internet. So we'll see what happens on there. But for now, if you need a keyboard for your device, check this out. It's only $150. And it's a great addition to your set-top box in your living room. So we've got the link, like I said, over at Geekazine.com. It's the Logitech Harmony Smart Keyboard. All right, moving on from there. Speaking of set-top boxes and game consoles, HBO Go has finally landed on the PS3. I'm not sure why not the PS4. I don't know if the PS4 is, or is it back time? Okay. It's still good. If you've got a PS3, you now can get HBO Go into your system. I guess Xbox One and PS4 did have that. So according to Sony, the service will go live at some point today. So you'll be able to watch every season of their shows, including Boardwalk Empire, True Detective, Game of Thrones, True Blood. So if you've got a PS3, good news for you. Check it out. We've got the links over at Forbes.com. Microsoft has finally rolled out the Skype Outlook integration to all users. They had this testing preview version in the Outlook Skype integration. So basically, you go into Outlook, you say, hey, I want to Skype this person, you Skype them. You can do it right into the app. Well, now everybody can do it. They have their ability to merge their Microsoft and Skype accounts together for a full plugin to work with Internet Explorer, Chrome, Firefox, and Safari. Now, I actually, on my desktop, I actually got rid of Skype for Windows 8 and actually went back to the older version of Skype because I need to do it. I needed to do it for the video calls because the new version of Skype, the biggest problem with that new version of Skype was it wasn't letting me choose which audio source or which video source to go from. And if it did, I had no idea where it was. So it was just very annoying. So I switched back to the old version and worked a lot better. And there were a lot of other issues too, especially when I was doing recording, podcasting stuff, video podcasting. So, it's interesting. We'll see what happens. I might just use this and see how this works for podcasters. But right now, if you want to give it a try, of course, go into your Outlook.com account and you can set up your Skype from there. And that link's over at computerworld.com if you need more information on that. Or do you even use Outlook.com? Let me know. Twitter me over at Geekazine. Of course, Geekazine@gmail.com. Check this out. Back over at CNET, they tried something here. They gave a whole bunch of kids rotary phones. They call, well, actually, it was a video called Kids React, where they're given a whole bunch, they're given rotary phones so they can react to it. The kids are ages 5 to 13. They were asked to operate the phone without being instructed on how to do it. Now, I grew up with rotary phones, and of course, I had a kid's toy, the little Fisher-Price phone that was a rotary phone, and I'm guessing some of these kids had this. So, but some of these kids didn't know how the rotary phones worked, and they were just confused. They might have been even confused with the whole idea of the phone itself. I mean, this is the phone nowadays, and most people have in their homes. Some don't even have landlines inside their houses. So interesting stuff. Just interesting to see how these kids react to using a rotary phone. And I think about it. I suppose if I was given the opportunity to use when I was a kid a phone that you had to crank and try and talk to an operator, I'd get a little bit confused on it at the beginning as well because I didn't use that type of phone. So interesting stuff. Of course, we're seeing how we're leaving some of yesterday's technology behind for newer, better, faster technology. So if you want to read more on that, go over to cnet.com. Got a couple more articles, and then we're going to talk a little bit about South by Southwest and go from there. Roku has announced that what they're doing is they had this streaming stick last year, but it was using what they called mobile high definition link, or MHL. They found that nobody was using MHL. It was a standard that was not getting into TVs, so they decided to abandon it, go back to HDMI, and now they are offering a Roku. And I'm actually going to be seeing that this week at South by Southwest. They're going to be offering a Roku streaming stick. Now, this is a $50 stick, and they're expecting it to be a competitor to Chromecast. Because you just plug it in the HDMI, you don't have to plug it in anywhere. I'm guessing that there's going to be a power source, just like with a Chromecast. If you don't own a Chromecast, basically you have to plug the Chromecast into the HDMI, and then there's a little power thing which you either plug into the wall or you plug it into a USB that can give out power to the Chromecast. So what's interesting is my Chromecast USB power is actually hooked up to the Roku USB port. So when the Roku reboots, the Chromecast reboots as well, which is really funny. So, but anyway, Roku, of course, this streaming stick will only be $50. Of course, Roku will have the Roku 3 for $99. You can still get that there. But if you're looking for a smaller alternative, maybe something for the kids' room or something like that, $50 right here. That's pretty cool. So check that out. It's over at Engadget.com. All right. Last article of today, and then of course we're going to talk about South by Southwest. Intel has decided that they're going to get into the wearable technology business, and they're doing it by purchasing a smartwatch maker called Basis. They is reported for somewhere around 100 to 150 million. I'm guessing that is in cash and in stock. So with that go around, you'll see that Intel is getting into this wearable realm as much as the Pebbles and the Google Glass, of course. So we'll see what happens there. And it's pretty interesting to see how they're making these moves. Think about it. About a year ago, they were investing big time into set-top box technology, cable set-top box technology, and they kind of abandoned it and moved on here. So it's going to be interesting to see of these wearable devices. CEO Brian Kranzik, I think I pronounced that right. He showed the uses of the two wearable devices and how they could be used and go from there. But basically, it's going to compete with Samsung, with LG, and of course Apple once they come out with their watch. So, what do you think? Would you buy an Intel smartwatch, or do you think that you're just waiting for the Apple iWatch, or did you buy the Samsung watch? Or are you planning to buy a Samsung watch? Let me know, twittering me over at Geekazine, of course, geekazine@gmail.com. All right, that is the short text. What we're going to do is we're going to take a second here, and then I'm going to come back. I'm going to talk a little bit about South by Southwest, what I expect to come from it, and go from there. You're watching Geek Smack for, what's episode 292? It's like the 4th of March. That's Mardi Gras, actually. I just realized that. Happy Mardi Gras. I don't have any beads on, so happy Mardi Gras. We'll be right back. You know, it's more than just 750 channels that the Roku can offer that gives you all that content. Each channel can have sub-channels in it, so you can have tens of thousands of hours of video watching and game playing out of your Roku. And prices only start at $49.99. Of course, the Roku 3 for $99.99, and of course you can get the games, you get the game remote as well, and then the privacy mode where you can plug in your headphones right in the remote. That's perfect for when your partner is sleeping, but you want to watch something on TV. Lots of great stuff from Angry Birds to Amazon to Hulu, and of course the Tech Podcast channel. Let me show you this really quick. This is how you get to some of the content from Geekazine on the Tech Podcast channel. You just go into the Tech Podcast video, and you're going to go into Tech News, and you're going to find like the special events, iPad 365, Geek Smack, and a whole bunch more. A lot of other tech podcast shows right on that Roku for you, right at your fingertips, right through the remote. And then, of course, you can get your Netflix, you can get your Amazon, you can get your Hulu just as easy, and many more channels. PBS, we've got Redbox Instant, TV Guide, Sci-Fi Channel, and much more. Check it out. It's all over at Roku. Remember, geekazine.com/Roku. Of course, that helps me keep the lights on for all my shows. Thank you very much. And go over where streaming is made simple. Of course, okay, there we go. Like I said, the audio is a little bit off track. I'm going through the Black Magic box because I don't have my microphone with me right now. Of course, South by Southwest. If you're not familiar with South by Southwest is an event that happens in Austin. A lot of people think it's about music, and there's a lot of music here, but there's different parts to South by Southwest. Right now, South by Southwest EDU is happening, the education version. And I got here last year early, and I got to actually experience some of the education part. And there's a lot of cool stuff that's coming, a lot of cool ideas. In fact, I did a video with the Makerspace. That was during the EDU part. They tear down, and then interactive starts. Interactive, lots of great stuff, lots of great guests coming on. Michael Dell is going to give a keynote. I know Adam Savage is going to be here. We're going to have a lot of different celebrities, in different areas. Actually, what's really funny is Roku is going to be here. They're hosting a media lounge, and they're going to have Sergeant Slaughter on Friday or Saturday at noon. So, one of my childhood heroes. Of course, he was a professional wrestler. He was also on G.I. Joe. So it would be kind of cool to meet him for the first time and go from there. Mindy Kaling is going to be here from the Mindy Project. A couple people from Brooklyn Nine-Nine are going to be here. So lots of interaction. Shaquille O'Neal, who was here last year, will once again be here to talk about how he embraces technology and go from there. So, and of course, interactive happens until the 11th and then the music side takes over. And in between that, you have the film side of South by Southwest. And of course, they're trying to introduce comedy. They tried it last year, and they're doing it again this year, and bring new ideas into South by Southwest. It's a very intense week because it doesn't happen in one area. It's not only the convention center, but there's off-site parties and off-site events all throughout the downtown Austin area, and sometimes even off the downtown Austin area. Last year, when I did the review of the Gibson Lucy, I was not in the downtown Austin area. We were at Gibson's Austin plant or place, or whatever you want to call it. So it was pretty cool to actually see that part and get some more interviews. So lots of things happen in Austin for South by Southwest, and I'm very excited about that. Lots of interviews. I'm expecting to talk to a lot of tech companies and a lot of startups, and because this is where I'm really focusing in on these startups. And of course, meeting new celebrities and rock stars in the social media game, because there's a lot of them now this last year produced. I'm also expecting to eat some great Tex-Mex and have some fun with that, and go from there and get videos which you'll start seeing on Geekazine.com. All you have to do is go over there and check it out. I've got a new camera rig set up, and I took a picture of it, and I don't have the picture here. I could probably look it up really quick. But basically what it is I took both of my cameras and I bought a bar for the cameras. So I'm actually going to have both cameras on one tripod, which means I can run around a little bit better. And I can get some of these pictures, some video. Oh, that's not what I wanted. So anyway, I can get some of this video and get some close-up to take some 2 camera shots and really bump up my production a little bit and go from there. So a lot of people are saying that this camera looks a lot like, and excuse me, my nose is starting to really go off from the travel. I get stuffed up from travel. A lot of people are saying it's looking like a Wally or a Johnny Five. So here's the picture right here. Let me see if I can go and bring it up in timely manner. Of course, I'm using the Wi-Fi from the hotel here, which is nice and slow. So let's show this to you. You'll get a good idea. Of course, there's the 2 cameras. I got the light up on top, and it's all on one tripod. And I'm really excited to do that. Plus, with the wireless system, I can actually hook up to both cameras and have good audio feed. So if one of them fails, I'll have the backup on the other one. So I'm really excited that this is going to be a very intense South by for me. And of course, with this camera, this Sony camera, I also have the ability to do slow motion action. So I'm going to try some slow motion shots from South by Southwest possibly, and do some viral stuff and see what happens, or what I would think would be viral video. So, of course, you can follow me at Geekazine. You can follow me over at youtube.com/Geekazine. And hey, you know, if you want to help out, it's always appreciated. I come here on my own dime, and usually I get sponsors, and no sponsors this time around. So I came here on my own dime. So if you want to help out, throw $20 my way. PayPal, geekazine@gmail.com. It's as simple as that. Throw a few bucks my way, and I'd appreciate it. And of course, I'll thank you guys on over at geekazine.com. Go from there. All right, well, that does it for this week. The shorter show, but hey, I wanted to get some news out to you, and I wanted to, of course, get the audio and video version out. I'm going to try and do this during South by Southwest, but if I can't do it, you'll know why. It gets pretty intense. Of course, there's going to be a lot of video and a lot of audio. Follow me over at geekazine.com and go from there. All right, well, that does it for Geek Smack for this week. My name is Jeffrey Powers. Thanks a lot for watching and listening. Twitter me over at Geekazine, Think Magazine, put in a geek, of course. And of course, if you have any questions, geekazine@gmail.com. All right, well, you guys have a great week. Have a fun Mardi Gras. And we'll see you. We'll see you during the other videos for South by Southwest. And if you are at South by Southwest, feel free to stop me and say hi, because I'm going to be interviewing everybody, and I might just interview you. You never know. So, all right. Well, you guys take care. And oh yeah, I forgot. Geek out.